Hello, everyone, and welcome to our newest Big Brother off-season podcast. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and we are here this week to do something. I've been looking forward to this ever since we started doing these off-season drafts. We are going to be drafting the best non-winners of Big Brother, the best Big Brother players that never won the game, and with me to do it, we've got all of Jerped. It's Rob Sesternino. How you doing, Rob?
Taran, you cannot do the best to never win Big Brother draft with the smartest player to never win Survivor. Unfortunately, Suri's not here. So I am excited. Let's do it.
Yes. Yes. Also with us to do another round of drafting, it is the season draft winner, Puya. How you doing, Puya?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be back. Spoiler alert, I do not want to be fourth pick this time, even though I made it work last time. But no, I'm excited to be here. Happy to be back with Jerped. So let's do it.
And of course, Jenny is with us as well. The J in Jerped. How you doing, Jenny?
I'm great. I'm hoping that tonight I will become the best to have never drafted until tonight because I've never done an RHAP draft. But realistically, drafts make me very sweaty. And I just like I'm not perspiring.
Usually
at this
drafts
moment.
make me very chilly.
Yeah, it's not that kind of draft. It's a lot of pressure and a lot of thinking and decision making, which makes me overall a very sweaty human. So it's moist up in here, and I'm happy to be here.
Okay.
Boy.
What a start.
Yep. Thanks for inviting me. Gotta go.
Well, like the winter draft, we are trying to draft for the best players. We're trying to pick the best team of Big Brother players that haven't won the game. That is the goal. And no, it does not count if they've lost a season. You cannot draft Cody from Big Brother 16 or Dan from Big Brother 14. If the player has won the game, they're out of the list. It's only people that have never won the game at all. So that is the plan. We will each draft 6 players for our team. We will draft in a snake draft order. And to determine the order, we will do another bit of trivia where the top scoring person in the trivia HOH competition will choose their spot in the draft order first, and so on and so forth. Are we ready for the trivia?
Oh my God. Okay.
My body temperature is rising as we speak.
All right. Do you have to close?
This is a taste of what it would be like to be in the Big Brother house. The pressure is on. It's
I don't
the
do
HOH.
well on tests.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh,
The first question is who? Oh, by the way, all of the answers to these questions are players of Big Brother that did not win the game.
Oh, great. So just
That
like
is the
500.
criteria.
Giant field, massive field.
A big
Yeah.
field, but
Oh,
you
my-
can't exclude winners from these questions.
Okay.
Perfect.
We're just writing our answer down and
Write the
then
answer
you're gonna-
down.
Okay. All right. And we're not looking at
All
the
right.
chat.
Yes, don't look at the
Or
chat.
Or are we asking the
Okay.
chat to behave? Yeah.
Click at it.
Who
Shout out.
was the very first winner of America's favorite player? The very first winner of America's favorite player.
I'm blanking on when that started.
Bump, 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 bump.
All right. Answers, please.
Okay. You want them one at a time or everybody turn over?
Well, everybody should be revealing answers.
Oh my God, sorry.
I said
This is something I never remember.
I see Marcellus, Kaser, and Bunky. None of those are correct. Janelle.
Janelle.
Janelle was the
I
first
truly
winner.
had no idea when the game started
Fair.
doing that. So
Is it like
Yes.
because I picked someone from the same season, I get a point? Or
Puya.
No.
maybe if we all get all the answers wrong, maybe that'll give me
We're
the
just gonna do trivia all night until one of us gets something right.
There's opportunity for points here because the next question has the ability for you to get 3 points.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna get a
Cool.
different color. That
Are
wasn't good luck for me.
3 non-winners of the game who made it to the final 3 without being nominated. Who are they? And for the purpose of this question, if an HOH said somebody's name at a ceremony intending to nominate them, I'm counting that person as nominated.
Yes. 3 non-winners who made it
So you
to
get
final
1 point
3
per
without
correct
getting
answer.
nominated.
To the final
3 without being nominated.
Oh my god.
Can I ask a technical question?
Sure.
What if they played like a couple times or 3 times, and then one of those times they weren't nominated?
I had the
I'm
same, and I
counting it.
just
If one of the
decided.
times they made it,
yeah.
then they made it.
Well, I have
That's what I was
one,
hoping
so the second one was a leap of faith anyway. No, that's
All right.
wrong.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm
Okay.
I'm much better with multiple choice.
This is, I mean, theoretically, this is the hardest quiz that we've had so far because there's
There's
so
so many
options.
answers.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Do we have our answers?
I'm
Sure.
ready. I'm
All
not
right,
overthinking
answers, please.
Let me know if you need to read out my chicken scratch to you.
Okay,
this.
so
Rob
I'm
went
getting
with one person.
I only had one.
So here are the correct answers: Danielle Reyes,
Okay.
Jason Guy, and
Okay.
Enzo.
Ah, yes.
Enzo.
So Puya and I get a point.
And
so
Rob gets
Puya-
a point.
And
Rob
Rob.
gets a point too.
Do you all get 1 point? Is that
Yes.
right?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, wait.
Perfect,
Mine is
great.
Jason at the end. That's Jason.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Jose
I
to
think we're
me.
missing Jason L.
Yes, Paul does not count because Cody.
That was the one. Yeah.
Yes, that was the specification. Cody did try to nominate Paul.
Oh,
Wait, we're counting that?
that
That's what I'm saying. He went to a nomination ceremony, said Paul's name to nominate them, and then then Big Brother was like, "But wait,
oh,
Paul is
boy.
actually going to be immune for 3 weeks."
But first, I don't like that. That's fine though.
All right, so you're all tied up at 1 point each. The next question: who was the first person to wield the diamond power of veto? First person to hold the diamond power veto. Answers, please. I see.
Oh, the
2.
dime.
Wait. What'd you write, Jenny? Oh, no.
Jason.
I did not hear the word diamond.
This was a tricky one. You might think it's Matt Hoffman, but it's actually Allison in season 4.
Ah,
They called the diamond, the final 4 veto, the diamond power of veto in season 4.
Trick question.
Allison was the first person to hold it.
Okay.
What a barn burner.
Yeah.
oh my God.
Look,
Dang.
that was supposed to be the tricky one.
I just didn't.
And then
hear
this
the
one
word
is supposed to be the
diamond.
impossible one.
Frick.
Okay.
Okay. This is a really interesting fact. This is great because I love my tiebreaker question. So it's gonna be perfect.
What if we screw it up here and like
Somebody
I'm
gets
None of us
banking
get the
on none of you
point.
getting this right.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh,
You're
challenge
probably
accepted.
right, at least about me.
What non-returning player lasted the most amount of eviction cycles before being nominated for the first time? Non-returning player
Non-returning.
who lasted the longest. There are 2 possible answers. If you get both, you'll get 2 points.
Oh, there's 2. Okay.
Yes.
Unreturning.
And I'll give you a hint. They might surprise you.
What? Taryn.
They're not obvious answers.
Can you repeat the question, Taryn? Sorry.
Which non-returning players lasted the longest before being nominated for the first time
Okay.
in the game that they played?
Hmm.
Can we write to?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I just want to make sure. I gotta look at my list again.
Okay. Do we have answers? Yes. Newbies. Another way of saying it.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. Answers, please. I'm seeing some good guesses in the chat.
I am just.
All right. Puya wrote Kevin and Azza.
Oh my
Jenny
gosh.
wrote Eric and Shelly. Rob wrote Holly.
I didn't know we were
Puya
writing two
got one.
answers.
Oh, the
Azza.
Kevin. Oh, it's Ozza.
Yes.
Azza is one correct answer. The other correct answer, Austin. Big Brother 17.
I nearly went there because I was like, in my head, I'm like, it's got to be one of these like 90-day seasons, right? Like one of them,
Wow.
but I couldn't. So because I nearly wrote Victoria, I was like, I don't think Victoria's right. And I couldn't
Rob,
think
you were
of
actually
something.
close. Holly is second, tied with JC. For lasting
there.
the longest before being nominated for the first time. BB21 Holly, yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Puya has won the quiz.
This sucks because I felt like when I was playing along with the previous week's trivia,
You're
I was
doing
like
great.
so good, and I'm typically terrible at trivia, and I was like, no.
Not gonna lie, I've watched all of them. It got harder and harder since my last
Oh.
appearance.
It is getting harder because it's getting harder to come up with questions.
That's
And I'm
fair.
Jordan
getting-
Galish.
less intelligent as time passes. So this is really just like
The fun part of trivia is that they're fun trivia facts.
It is a fun
whether you
fact.
get the answers or not.
will I
So-
ever use it again? Who knows?
Here's the tiebreaker question. Kaser has had more votes cast to evict him than any other player over his Big Brother career. How many votes have been cast against him? Closest to the correct answer without going over gets it.
I'm gonna write one anyway. Is
Go
that
for
cool?
it.
All right.
Is this just between me and Jenny for?
For
Yeah,
who's next?
For
Yeah.
second place.
Okay, for
Yeah.
second place. Oh my god.
I have my answer. Wait, how does? Oh, that's where the cap goes. Wait, what?
All
Did I just
right.
break my pen?
Hold.
I'm imagining Rob currently scribbling math on his board. 60 times 120. All right,
No.
answers, please. Rob wrote 23. Jenny wrote 36. The correct answer is 33. So
Wow!
Rob,
Wait,
without going over,
oh, we're going over.
no, Jenny.
I hate my life. This is what happens when you give verbal instructions to someone with ADHD. Okay, I remember half of it. I do my best. I just was like, that sounds like a right number, and it's my age, so let's go with 36.
That's what I did
Close.
too.
close.
Yeah, you did a great job, Rob.
All right, so
bad
Puya, you
omen
have
for this
first
draft.
pick at your order in the draft. What position would you like to be?
First pick.
First pick for Puya.
Wow.
Rob. Well, oh yeah, Puya, what did you write for the number?
We don't need to talk about that.
Okay.
Oh, he's like 5.
Yeah,
No, I
Were you high or low?
severely. Oh no, I said 53.
53.
Yeah.
Hey. He's gotten a lot of votes.
He's got too many.
Rob,
Yeah.
what position would you like to have?
I'll take second.
Second position for Rob. Jenny?
I will take 3rd.
Jenny is taking
Keep it
3rd.
simple.
And that means that I will be the 4th pick. One more piece of information to pass along before we start up this draft. Last week's draft, we drafted the first boots of Big Brother. Right? That was the one we did. Yes.
Yeah.
And Sasha's team won with 37% of the vote, followed by Chappelle's team in second place. So Sasha is our newest draft winner.
It was a
There you
cheat
go.
code, Taryn. Y'all let her pick Joey Rodriguez, who made hella burners and then voted for her multiple times. So congratulations.
All right. Let's get this started then. We can draft.
One other
yes.
question. Are the Big Brother 1 contestants eligible?
Big Brother 1 contestants are theoretically eligible if you would
you
like to
want it.
draft one
Okay.
of them.
But no
Big
celebrity, no-
OTT
no
and
OTT.
celebrity, not eligible.
Okay.
But other
I
than that, you can
assumed
pick
that, but it's good
any Big
confirmation.
Brother player as long as they have not won the game. That is the only criteria. So we are just crafting this list from a sea of hundreds. So it should be very, very fun. All right. Puya, you have the first pick. Which player is going to be the first drafted player on the board?
Yeah, see, this is arguably, I think, one of the harder drafts that we've had on the off season here because of the big pool. But for the first pick, it's easy. It gets harder later. I needed first pick. I want this person on my team. I want Danielle Reyes on this team. I really do. I really do.
Danielle Reyes, first pick off the board. One of 3 people who have never won the game to make it to the final 3 without being nominated.
I know
Yeah.
that now.
I feel
Fun
like
fact.
I don't think there's much argument that needs to be made for Danielle here. She is incredible. Because of her, we have sequestered juries, a whole mechanic added to this entire game. Without her, that wouldn't have happened. She should have arguably won her first one, and that mechanic should have existed. It didn't, and she was robbed as a result. So put her here. The other part, coming in to All Stars, having that recognition, having that target, still managing to make it where she made it. Thumbs up.
I mean, she
It's
played
a
an
great
amazing
pick.
game.
It was the far and away number 1 pick.
Yeah.
There was a big gap after that. I love Danielle Reyes. She is incredible. She was so much fun to watch in the real time. Nobody on forget Big Brother. Nobody on reality TV had ever played the type of game that she played, and I think that she put into motion a ton of strategic ideas that are still in play some 20 some odd years later.
Yeah. Just to let the audience know, I believe that Danielle Reyes, Jason Guy, the first real secret alliance.
Love that.
Rob and
Yeah.
Jenny are, I think, attempting to recreate that as they are
In the
offering
private chat. Oops.
alliance offers.
Was that
in the-
public?
We were
in the
playing
chat.
cards, Taryn.
You'd never suspect us. Yes, we do podcast together twice a week at this point, but you'd never suspect us.
Mhm.
I just want us to, not hurt each other's feelings here.
Hmm.
I want
Well,
us to be
look.
able to, get through this.
Danielle Reyes, great number 1 pick.
Incredible.
Makes a lot of sense. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Rob,
I mean,
You-
if you were drafting with winners and we were doing a draft for
Yes.
best players, like
She's
could
beating
be-
a
she
ton
could
of
be a
winners.
first round pick. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're going on like best strategist of the game or just like best all-around players, like she's beating numerous winners of the game. So
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
And
good
not to mention, in addition to being a great player, she made great television. She was, I think, one of the greatest of all time in the diary room as well. So, Danielle Reyes will always be like one of my like tip top, most favorite Big Brother players ever.
It's going to be tough to top. I mean, she does come back in All Stars to, a disappointing performance, but only because the expectations were so high. And you could probably criticize the move to take out Amy over Lisa, as well as the jury management and stuff like that. But still, I think she is just too legendary to deny here.
And just
All right,
impressive
Rob.
showings in both seasons too. Like
Yes.
when you have like 2 samples to look at as well, and both were so solid. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So with the second pick overall, I'm going to go with a person who, this is a pick. I feel good making this pick. I'm excited to make this pick. We talk about the best players to never win, but it's even debatable if this man ever got to play. I'm going to go with my great friend, Mr. Eric Stein.
Yeah.
Eric Stein. Great pick.
Love
Yes.
it.
Yeah, I didn't have my volume up.
Eric, my man, what is good?
Throwback.
I mean,
love it.
You're good. You're good.
We're good. We're good. And so I'm very excited to get the chance to take Eric. Liked being in the second spot. So I thought that this was a solid way to start off my team. I mean, it's, debatable. Like, you could say that he certainly, if he was able to make his own decisions, maybe could have won Big Brother 8.
Mhm.
We don't know
Yeah.
how good he can be. He had to play with this bit of a impediment to his game in being America's player, and still was able to pull off a lot of stuff in the house. Just imagine if he was able to actually play the game and do what he wanted to do. So I know how much Eric was held back by America's player. And so that's why Eric is an easy choice for me with the second pick overall.
You can pinpoint like, key moments in his game where America's player voting actively made him, go against what could have won him, like eventually like led to him winning the game. Like you can see how one decision changes the course of things. And, having 2 people related to each other in the house that America like fell in love with, and, were voting so vehemently in their favor, really disadvantages Eric. And he just had like so many good like instincts in the game. His social game is incredible. I love Eric Stein. He is someone I often will say is like my favorite Big Brother player ever. Rob, I knew you were gonna go for one of my faves, so
Look,
but it's okay. We're okay.
I had to do it.
You had to.
Yeah, a pick that I feel good about making, and well, let's see what happens.
Yeah, the thing about Eric Stein is that, obviously he's very hard to judge because the criteria is so different for Eric than it is for anybody else. It's kind of like if Eric was like a basketball player, he played the game blindfolded with one hand tied behind his back, and still managed to perform up there with some of the elite players of all time, but never quite got over the top.
Yeah.
So you're like, what if he didn't have the blindfold and the arm tied behind his back? It's like,
Yeah, but you can't argue he would have done worse, possibly, if there wasn't for the America's player twist. Like, look how well he did with that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's an elite player who played with severe handicaps, and there's just so much untapped potential here, I think, unfortunately for Eric Stein. But I think definitely you could make the case that he is the best of the non-winners, but you could easily also make the case that we've just seen a bit more from some of the other people who have displayed their capabilities. So
well, the thing is like with other players, you can like say, well, this is a mistake they made, and like they could have not made it. Whereas you can like say with things that went wrong for Eric, to be like, well, was that really his fault? So it's kind of hard to weigh him in a different, like, with the field here. But he's just like the ultimate what if of
we
Brother.
know everybody else on this list lost from their own decisions. This is the one guy you can't say he made a decision that made him lose.
I mean, let's be real. If Eric Stein is not America's player, I think like it would be hard. I would be hard pressed to say he doesn't win Big Brother 8. I would be hard pressed to say he is not a Big Brother winner straight up.
Right,
Given the
now
amount
Evil
of
Dick is gonna
control,
block us all on threads.
given the amount of control he had, I think people sometimes forget how good he was on Big Brother 8. Because he ran that house, and via him, America ran that house. On top of that, he had some severe disadvantages as well. His spot got completely outed by a banner plane, which made things even more challenging for him. He still managed to bounce back. I mean, it was an impressive run for sure.
Okay.
All right.
Puya, yeah?
I was gonna say,
Pushback?
I do think you could have given America's player to a lot of other people, and they would have not been able to gel with it the way he did. They would have imploded way sooner. And I do agree. I guess we'll never know unless Eric steps back into the battlefield after these many years. We'll never know where it would go. But also, I feel like with these drafts, you gotta pick who you want to pick because they might not come back to you. And the fact of the matter is, maybe at second, some think it's high, but also, could you have gotten him at sixth? Probably not. So you got to do what you got to do, Rob. Love it.
My team, not America's team.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That, Rob.
That means, Jenny, you have the third pick of the
I'm
draft.
so sweaty.
Who's it gonna be?
Okay, so here's the thing about how I draft. When I draft, like, for fantasy sports or whatever, I am a lunatic and I have like a million tabs open. I'm comparing stats, and then ultimately
Same.
I just end up weighing a lot of my decisions on vibes. I am a vibes kind of person, and I am an emotional person, and I wear that honestly. And so for me, I had someone at the top of my list as someone I wanted to try to ensure that I would get. And I realized by making this pick, what I'm leaving on the table. But for me personally, this is someone I want on my team more than the other person, I think. And I will, with my third pick Paul.
Oh,
That's right, baby.
Friendship.
And I mean, it's a huge debate, but I'm sorry. Getting to the final two twice and both times having an incredible resume to win. Obviously, we know what went wrong both times. We know a very, very close vote both times. I understand why Paul loses both times, but I am looking at Paul as a player as a whole. And I am just that it's like this is a robbery. I don't know. I just think that you see Paul play again. They've got the abilities. Like maybe I'm crazy, but for me, this is an emotional. I was a fan of Paul in both seasons, and I just this is an emotional comfort pick for me personally because I think Paul deserves some flowers. And
not pissed.
I'm gonna just say that there's somebody still on the table that I understand is widely seen as one of the best to not win, but I have preferences, and it's not for me. And I'm picking on vibes, baby, and this is the vibe for me. Like, losing in very close votes 2 seasons in a row, I can't ignore that. I think that Paul deserves to be this high, at least for me.
Friendship.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing about Paul for me is that I did have Paul on my list eventually because at some point you just have to recognize the game they played in Big Brother 19. However, I do think there are some significant drawbacks to Paul's resume. Primarily for me is that their Big Brother 18 game wasn't overly impressive in my opinion. It's bolstered quite a bit by the fact that Victor's there like 3 separate times. And then kind of like gets to the end that way. Still loses because of their jury management after that. And then Big Brother 19 is one of the most dominant games ever played. However, I do also account for the fact that I do think it's, as we talked about, the pendant of protection, a 3-week immunity idol, on top of friendship bracelets where they got to hand out immunity to half of the house at the beginning of the game, on top of the fact that they were the sole vet in a sea of new players, kind of set them up for success there. Not to take away what they did, because it was very impressive, but I do think they were certainly set up for success, and definitely have to account for the fact, again, that they lost due to poor jury management.
Mm-hmm. I don't hate this pick of Paul in the first round. I mean, he makes it to the end twice. I mean, that's rather incredible. Does he lose by 1 vote both times? I mean, the biggest problem is that he wore the same shirt 2 times in a row, especially after he's like, this is your unlucky shirt, dude.
That's branding. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's 1 jury vote away from not even being eligible to be picked in this. So it's not like he loses 9-0 in the juries. So yeah, he's 1 jury vote away from being a winner of the show. So he's right
2 jury
there.
votes away from being a 2-time winner.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's like it's a game of inches for Paul. I mean, he's like as close as you can be to being a winner without being one, and he's done it twice. And so, yeah, we couldn't quibble with the jury management, which is bad, admittedly. And I think that he was also, I think we forget like how young he was. Like when he played the show, was he like 22 and 23? Like
something like that, I think.
That's why I feel like Paul's.
Well, they were also a recruit, right?
Game
they hadn't know the game before.
And I don't even think Paul watched the show back. Like I think that was a fault that he didn't even watch his season back from BB18 to BB19. So I mean that I think Paul belongs pretty high up on this list.
I agree. Just throwing in
Here's the thing.
the downsides.
I understand that I could have been conservative and waited for my second pick, but I don't fully know. I know what Taryn's going to do with his first pick. I don't know what Taryn's going to do with his second pick, and I am an emotional baby, as I've said many times, and I just wanted to get the one person that I had at the top of my list, and I would have been upset if I let it let that go, and then that's I don't like Paul doesn't come back to me, so I don't care. I'm here for vibes. This is my first pick, and I'm happy, and that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Well, I can confirm to you that Paul would have come back to you. It would have been close, though. It would have been close.
Because if I take the person that I think you're taking, then you have 2 more picks. And I don't know, like that the middle can get a little, you know what I mean? I feel like there's like some top names that people bring up when we talk about best and have never won. And to be fair, Paul is definitely one of them. So there was a non-zero chance where I pick someone that I have less of an emotional connection to, and then I don't get Paul. And you get Paul. Like that hurts. So for me, vibes.
You got the team you want. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, Taryn, we know where you're going, but make it
your boy.
All right. So I feel like I've been given a feast here, and I have too much food in front of me for what my stomach can contain, because my stomach can only fit 2 of these picks. But I think I have some very clear options in front of me. The first of which is going to be Vanessa Rousseau, the poker extraordinaire who dominated season 17, utilized the twin twist to demolish a majority alliance, creating one of her own. She used game theory and incentivized people to propel her forward in the game. And if they didn't do what she wanted, then hey, they were just silly. Ultimately loses because she could not win the crapshoot that was part 3 of the final 3 HOH against Steve. And perhaps the one blind spot she had was Steve himself and his willingness to cut her there. But easily one of the most impressive non-winning games that the show has ever seen. Vanessa Rousseau.
Yep, this was easy.
But here's the thing is like I will admit when I watched BB17, I didn't have a good time that season, and I didn't personally connect with Vanessa, and I didn't root for her. And I can objectively look at her game and see it for how impressive it is and respect her as a player, but for me, I just didn't personally connect with it. And I am drafting on vibes. And so I was thinking that maybe she wouldn't fall to me, but here it's fine. Taryn, have her win the freaking draft. I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah.
Another fun fact about
Force
Vanessa.
it to draft to Taryn. He's supposed to make other picks.
Along with Eric Stein, one of the few players to survive being backdoored.
Yeah.
Very rare. Very rare
Yes.
feat. I mean, I remember with 17, because I've talked about this many times. 16 was like the first season I really had RHAP alongside the shows, but 17 was the first time where I was really like also keeping up with feeds. And I just remember feeds coming on and Vanessa is in the dumps. Full in the dumps, to then see Vanessa all the way in finale night, really be sold that, okay, Vanessa's got this. She's going to win. And then for Steve to win, I still think a lot of people look at 17 and probably think Vanessa won that season, even though she literally hasn't. And I think Vanessa's also now top of the list of who people want to see come back. Now that we've had 22, we've had a second All-Star thing, she wasn't there. I think she's top of the ballot for a lot of people to see play a second time.
Yeah, I mean, Vanessa is great. I think that in terms of like what she brought to the game strategically, I think she was running circles around most of the people in that house that I remember, we were podcasting at that point in time. And, it seemed like that many a times that things were not going her way. And then ultimately by the end of the week, she got things where she wanted them to be. I think we're still waiting for her book to come out about all how she did everything. But yeah, this was a great pick. I mean, Vanessa could have gone first overall and nobody would have batted an eye.
Yeah.
So, great value for Taryn at number 4.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
I knew what I was doing. I knew I was leaving her for you, but I didn't care.
Well, where are you going next? That's what I want to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the question.
I feel like I'm sad that there's a person I'm not going to get because of this pick, but there's no way that I couldn't make this pick myself here, especially in the position that I am in at the moment. My next pick is going to be the legendary mastermind of the cookout. It's Tiffany Mitchell. Gotta take her. Vanessa and Tiffany on my team. How can I lose? It's impossible. Tiffany, the mastermind, the organizer behind the most dominant alliance in the show's history, and arguably only lost because she was too loyal to it, too dedicated to the cause of getting all 6 of them to the end and crowning the first Black winner of the show, to the point that it was a detriment to her own personal game, which is, I think, a very understandable reason for somebody to have done something that wasn't necessarily in their best personal interest. Despite that fact, she still made a decent run at it, and things only really crumbled right near the end because she had been set up pretty well. But just an incredibly charismatic and strategic player who I think is going to be immensely capable in any season that she plays in. The fact that she had so many options and so many different paths to get to the end in such a dominant way is incredible in and of itself. So Tiffany has to be on my team. I love her.
Yeah. Wow. I love her. This was a really great pick. That to me, I feel like that Tiffany is sort of similar to when we were talking about with Eric with America's Player.
Yeah.
That to me, I feel like that Tiffany is also in that category of like, she didn't lose the game. Like she got as far as she could get based off of like what she set out to do. And I think that she like set out to, work with the cookout and get all the members of the cookout to the final six, knowing it was a detriment to her game. But I think she put that mission. I know she put that mission first at the detriment of her game. But I don't know necessarily if it works without her leadership and guidance to get there. And the whole idea of everybody having a partner to make it work. I mean, it was brilliant. She was a mastermind. She was everywhere on the feeds that season. So I think Tiffany is a slam dunk pick. Easily, could have gone in the first round also.
Yeah.
Yes. Here's the thing, Vanessa, Tiffany, I knew I had both picks, so I didn't care about the order.
I think it was probably the right order, but you could go either way. No, so here's the thing, Taryn, is that there were two people that I thought you might be between, and I went back and forth on who you might pick, because obviously I'm thinking about what's being left for me next. But I love this pick. Tiffany is very high on my list, and yeah, there you go. It's great.
All right.
I respect the pick.
Okay. Jenny, that means you have the next pick as we wind back around the snake.
So here's the thing. When I was like, doing my, my little list to kind of get myself prepared, I was like, wow, I have a lot of female players that I am considering. I think that there are a lot more women here that are wonderful players that have not won the game. But here I am, and I'm going to take a man. I will take Tyler Crispin with my second pick. Because I just think that, still being here at pick, 6 are we at now?
6 overall.
6 overall. I feel like it's a little bit of a bargain. I think that, getting as far as he did in both of his seasons is very, very impressive. I think that his Big Brother 20 game is incredible. Another, loss by 1 vote, another, scenario where we can see very easily that he wins that season. I do take some issue with how BB22 went. I think his head wasn't completely in it, but he was in an incredible position for a lot of that season. And I still look at him as a player that has like all of the tools and instincts to do very well, like basically every time he plays. And so I have to weigh all of these things, and I just think that he's overall such an impressive player, and I don't think that I could let him fall further. So for me, that is my choice here.
Tyler, and this has always been my contention, Tyler through the first half of Big Brother 20 was playing one of the greatest Big Brother games of all time. That he has all of the tools. If you were building a perfect Big Brother player, that he had it all, and seemed to be a shoo-in to win through much of the season. I've always contended that I felt like that he took his foot off the gas a little bit at the end of Big Brother 20, and it cost him. But I think he is no doubt one of the greatest players to play the game, especially when we're talking about players who haven't won. And yeah, he definitely did not seem like the same guy during Big Brother 22. But I suspect if he had the chance to play again now, maybe he's different. Maybe it's back to the old guy.
Eating meat again, maybe.
Maybe.
That's the secret. It's a good burger.
Iron.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there was a period of time between Big Brother 20 and Big Brother 22 where I saw Tyler and Vanessa as like two sides of the same coin. They played very different, very opposite games, but were both similarly skilled in terms of how well they were able to play. And I would have easily put him up there with Vanessa as one of the absolute top players to have never won. Big Brother 22 did tarnish that a little bit for me. He's still in, the top, like, I think 6 is about right for Tyler at this point, close to it. Because I think Rob is right. I think that he just doesn't have the drive to win, the killer instinct that he needs.
I wrote that on my
killer.
note.
He's not a killer.
Like lacking the killer
execute.
instinct. Yeah.
Because I think a Tyler that is super focused and determined to win the game at all costs has the capability of being one of the all-time greats, but he doesn't have it, and so he consistently undermines his own performance. I think we saw some impressive things in 22, but we also saw a complete meltdown of him in the game, which is part of him as a person and him as a player. And so at the end of the day, that's what we have to go by. So there's Tyler.
All right.
Yeah.
Puya, what do you think? I
don't
need some
have a lot to-
validation at this moment, please, friend.
No. Okay. Here's the thing. If you got first half of BB20 Tyler all the time, he should be in contention for many. First of all, higher, but also might not even be on this.
He'd
list
have
'cause
won the
he'd be
game.
winner.
He wouldn't have been
Exactly.
eligible.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Taryn, it's
Yeah.
funny you mentioned the phrase killer instinct because right as you said that, I had a flashback to BB20 when we were talking about endlessly how much Casey didn't have killer instinct, and Casey beats him. So to me, I've now, I feel like Tyler's someone who 22, a lot of people were very high on him, comes in, doesn't do all, like kind of fumbles it hard, gives up, kind of quits midway, but also was young, also coming back, let's say this season, next season, could maybe do things differently. Also is no longer in a relationship where the claims are that the schmoopiness got to him. Can't relate. I am not like that. I would not crumble in the house without my partner.
Puya's still a killer.
He was very young both times
I'd
he's played too. And I know that doesn't always mean everything, but I definitely, the things that you can see in Tyler as a person and a player, if like we talk about this all the time, like Rob, you are like one of the biggest proponents of like the sweet spot of Survivor, a Big Brother player, like late 20s, early mid 30s, where you're like, you've kind of come into yourself, yourself. And so I really think that we maybe see, maybe we'll never see, but Tyler plays, a couple years later in his late 20s or early 30s, and he's learned something from these experiences. And I just think that he has a lot of the natural things that you need to be an excellent Big Brother player. And so that I'm weighing that quite a bit in my decision here.
All right. Rob, you have the next pick. Where are you going to go?
This is where things are getting really tough. Okay.
Are they?
Yeah, I think they are because basically I have Puya I'm on like Jenny that I have Puya gonna go 2 picks in a row. And
I feel like there's one obvious pick left, personally.
One obvious pick left. Okay.
Just message it to Rob.
All right. Well,
Start an alliance like I did.
Okay. I'm going to go with. I feel like there's a chance it would come back to me, but I don't want to risk it. I'm gonna go with Janelle. I'll take Janelle here.
Janelle.
Is this your pick, Darren, or no?
No.
I was not expecting this.
Okay. Look, I think Janelle is certainly can be a messy player, and it didn't go great on the third or the fourth time out there. But the first and the second, baby. I mean, she goes to the final 3 twice. That's gotta mean something. I mean, that especially in her heyday, I mean, there was nobody that was more ferocious in these competitions. That she brought out the best and the worst of her rivals. I mean, made for classic Big Brother. And if she, gets she was this close twice. So if we're talking about the best to never win Big Brother, love to have Janelle on my team.
I'm not mad at it, Rob. I'm not mad at it. To me, Janelle was kind of always going to end up being a pie picker in my second of 2 picks at the third round. If
Really?
Listen, I think Janelle
if she got to the 12th pick, you would take her.
If I was feeling it that day, not 12th pick, 8, 9, whatever. Here's the thing. I think yes, Janelle has paved the way for a lot, has given us a lot of good TV. It still delivers on the TV front anytime she's in the house. But I also find her to be a tad overrated. Tad overrated. I do.
Pissed.
I think you can be iconic and not be great at the game. And that's kind of how I feel a little bit.
No, Puya, I feel exactly the same. Is that I feel like Janelle is undisputably one of the most iconic Big Brother players, but I'm not necessarily weighing that in the same way as I would see if we're basing it on the best, whatever. But that is also subjective because ranking is arbitrary and reductive, and also we have our own personal feelings for what we value in a player. I respect this pick for Rob. Wasn't personally very high on my list. I think she's incredibly iconic. She's like an incredible competitor. There are some things left to be desired, I feel, in terms of a social game that I personally connect with, which is why I don't have her as ranked as high. But an icon of Big Brother.
Oh,
easily an icon. Again, there are some potentially messy things in the game, but I mean, she has 2 top 3 placements. So, the back of the baseball card is there, and you don't get much better than that. And I know there are other people that have better one-time performances. And if we were judging her off of just maybe 1 season or 2 seasons, she would go high. I mean, should she be penalized for coming back too many times?
I think that just further makes the confirmation icon. Part of the upper echelon, part of the youth. Name 5 players.
Has anybody else played 4 times?
If you count Kaser.
Yes.
If you count his return and exit.
Yeah. Look, you can quibble with it. I got Janelle, number 7 overall.
All right. I think Janelle probably hurt the most as her biggest strength being her competitive prowess. The fact that the competitions have changed since she dominated them, I think, is part of what hurt her so much when she returned. Definitely somebody hurt by the change in competitions.
Also
lately.
hurt by the change in time. Also, I mean, I think it's like 15 years later from when.
Well, to be fair, I feel like if the competitions were the same, the age would barely even still matter. As maybe she doesn't win OTEV, but honestly, she still probably does. So, all right, Puya, you now have 2 picks.
I do have 2 picks back to back. Then I don't have a pick for a minute. So basically for me, the key is, I think, again, there's a whole cast, like 500 people available. I'll find someone in the latter rounds, but I don't want to look across and think this is someone I want. I didn't pick him here for someone that's going to be available later. Anyway, I want to pair up. I want to pair up my first pick with the other member of the alliance. Not going to keep it a secret. Give me Jason Guy.
Yes. This was the pick I was talking about, Rob.
Yeah.
Look, I could speak to the greatness of Jason, who plays an incredible game in Big Brother 3. I just think that maybe it's only one game, and I think that's hard to he goes very, very far. Everybody would have voted for him in the end. I think even Danielle says that he would have won a jury vote. So yeah, it's a great job. It's just that it's only one season.
It's true.
I think he just has like that natural like charisma and like energy that I think that people will always gravitate towards. So even though we don't have another sample to look at, like I truly do believe that someone like Jason does well playing again. So that's something to consider. But it's sometimes it's hard with these players that, you know, they played once and it was so long ago, because you're thinking about like the modern game and like maybe who they're playing against. But I just think that as a person, you know, he's just so good. He's just so naturally good and smart and incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could easily make the case that Jason was much better positioned to win Big Brother 3 than Danielle ever was, because she was always going to lose to him in a jury vote. But you could also make the case that, you know, who is Jason Guy without Danielle Reyes there to push him? You know, he was reluctant to make a lot of the moves that they made, and definitely it helped a lot to have Danielle there to be like, no, we got to do this. You know, I know you love Roddy, but he's got to go. He's the devil. So you know, definitely that's where only seeing him in one season, you know, you could definitely see some potential flaws there.
Yeah. I mean, he certainly benefited a ton from that relationship. He brought a lot to it. You know, they were such a great partnership. I just do wonder if you put Jason into a different season without Danielle, like what do the results look like there? I think it's almost impossible to tell off of what we get just from Big Brother 3.
Yeah. Incredible player, though.
Yeah.
And also the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which helps a lot.
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard his middle name was Nice.
Nice.
Is it like
Jason.
pronounced like
He
It's a
actually
number.
he actually changed it. It's a no more Mr. Nice Guy now.
Oh. All right. Well, let's take a quick look at the board as it stands. Puya's team currently consists of the Secret Alliance, Danielle and Jason. Rob's team is Eric Stein and Janelle. Jenny's team is Paul and Tyler. And I have Vanessa and Tiffany. It's a pretty stacked top 8
and a motorcycle
so far.
My
But
bad.
Puya has one more pick to make before we go back down the line.
I do. I have a couple options here. But there's some where I'm like, I feel decent about this person, but I don't know like how decent to like get votes on it. But I want someone who, similar to Jenny, I want to go off vibes. I think she's someone who has played a couple of times, both decent games, both times faces a bit of an impossible feat with the opponents in front of her, and will deliver in the diary room with my team of Danielle. Bring in Brittany Haynes into the fold here, please and thank you.
That's a very fun pick.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you got brigaded and then you got funeraled. Like, these are not good spots for you to be in, but anyone else would have the similar problem in front of those two situations. So, and you're going to deliver good times. And I think you're also very likable, and I think you'll also do well if you play it again.
Brittany is someone like on live feeds, both seasons. Like I was constantly watching her because I was just obsessed with watching her have conversations with people. And like that matters to me. Like when you are genuinely enjoying watching how someone interacts with other people naturally, just regular conversations, seeing how they bond with them, seeing how charismatic they are, seeing how funny they are, and how much you make like people like that, like you. Brittany has that, and I just like remember just being glued to her on feeds. And I agree with you, Puya, that I think she got a raw deal in both of her seasons. Obviously, like, you know, there's things of her doing that play into that as well. But this would be a vibes pick for me as well. I have Brittany pretty high on my list.
Okay, now I think that Brittany is hilarious. Okay. And absolutely also an icon. But yeah, I feel like I was getting grief over my pick of Janelle. And
Rob.
I feel like, yes.
Y'all, there was no grief. I just said she's a tad overrated. I still said she's iconic.
I mean, tell me about the strategic prowess of Brittany.
Did I say strategic is all that matters, Rob? But remember, I went with Brittany in my third round.
At least Janelle wins comps.
Yeah.
I don't think that Brittany is unstrategic, though.
Comps are
No,
great. but
no, definitely not
known for that,
unstrategic.
Rob.
Yeah.
Once you're known for winning comps, you better win them all, because you miss one, you're bye-bye. You're gone. The boots. You don't want that.
Are we picking fights between the Amazing Race team of Janelle and Brittany?
I don't know. I just feel like Booyah said my pick was a tad overrated.
Rob, I meant generally. That wasn't a slight on you. That was just generally on. Yeah.
I also think,
Rob, I don't appreciate you sending someone to do donuts outside of my house while this is going on. It's very distracting.
Yeah.
trying to throw
me
him
off.
off. But I also think that, like, when you're drafting too, like, I like to think about like this, like how the landscape of the team, like, you know, where are we going? Like, what you want to kind of have a little bit of balance, a little bit of everything. And I think after Puya drafts Danielle Reyes and Jason Guy, I think you got to go in a different direction. And I think that Brittany is a perfect direction for where he went. And Rob, I think for what you were doing, that Janelle completely makes sense with what you're doing too. So you're both killing it. And I love you both so much.
Thank you, Jenny. Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. I think if we're picking Brittany here, it's because of her BB14 game, not because of her BB12 game, which wasn't great. And in her BB14 game, she does outlast Janelle. So there's a little bit of direct competition.
They went
there.
head to head, Rob.
We're looking at average placement, right?
Yeah.
I think Brittany has it, right?
Probably after
math.
I have
four
to do the math,
for
but I don't
Janelle.
want to.
I think if you know, given how BB14 and BB22 went for Janelle, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, look, if not for the funeral, I think Brittany is definitely well positioned to get to the end. Can she actually win there? It depends. But she was doing well. She was doing well without,
We'll never know.
that funeral coming in. All right. Okay. So that means that Rob, you have your next pick.
Okay. Boy, this is now things have gotten very difficult. Okay.
This has been difficult for me every second.
Yeah.
I'm stressed out.
It gets very difficult. But I'm gonna go with somebody who
We is team motorcycle.
yeah. This is
Every time I unmute thinking it's done, it happens again. I'm just gonna stay muted.
Okay.
No.
I'm gonna go with here at pick number 10 overall. I'm gonna go with Nokomis, the auteur of the six-finger plan that got her freaking brother put into the house with her. Here she is, Nokomis.
Creator of the backdoor.
Yes. Her brilliant brain. Yes.
First executor of the backdoor.
Okay.
Yes.
Implementer. Is that a word?
Yeah. Part of season 5. Got Jace out of the house with the old six-finger plan when you got to pick the other people that were going to be in the veto. Change is a game changer. Now they have to pick random draws out of the veto every season. When they do that, it's all because of this person, Nokomis.
I like this pick. She's high on my list. I don't know if I was going next, but she's definitely high on my list. I think just one of the best female strategists of Big Brother history.
I do like Nokomis. I do think that the six-finger plan pads her resume a little a little too much, I think.
Hey, look, you gotta
think
have
if-
big moves on the resume, Taryn.
I think if you take away the 6-finger plan, which wasn't exactly her idea, and even if it was, it's not exactly like nobody would have thought of it, you know.
She's an OG all-star.
If you're missing the
She
subtext here,
still did
Taryn does
well.
not like Nicole.
She still did well, and I still like her. And I think that I honestly don't even fault her all that much for her all-star performance. I think that Big Brother 5
Yeah.
was pretty much screwed the second they walked in the door. But I do think that you know, I personally like to evaluate Nokomis sort of minus the artificial padding. I think that gets thrown in there, which still is an impressive player.
Yeah. Well, it's a challenge here, especially like when we're looking at the Big Brother alumni like this. It's that even the people that they have like one good run, then a lot of them have a second run that has a lot of warts, and so this is a challenge. This is harder than it sounds.
It is. This is the interesting part of the draft, is that, you know, we're now trying to pick, I think, players from all over that people might not expect. So
We really are. Yeah, we're in the far more subjective part of this draft now, where the chalk are gone, and it's a lot more. Where's the wind taking you? Where's the vibe taking you? And where are your thoughts taking you?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're back to Jenny.
back
God.
Queen of
to Jenny.
vibes.
I am stressed. Shocking to nobody. Here's the problem with the snake draft is I have 3 people that I am trying to decide between now, and I'm doing the same thing where it's like, you
I
know,
think
which of them
pick the one
could I
you
get
like
one of?
most
Can I get
of the
2? Can I
3.
get 2? Is Taryn gonna take the other 2 if I pick one? You know what I mean? I'm like, can't get in your head. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I can't believe I'm doing this. I am going to take Enzo.
The feet. She wants the feet. She picked
I
the
want
feet.
the feet, baby. It's a vibes team. I'm sorry. There is no one more vibes than Enzo Palumbo. This guy is just the social game. Like I do. No, I'm being serious here though. That like if you look at Enzo's like record and how far he gets in his 2 games and how well positioned he was in both of those games, I think that Enzo gets forgotten, and because he is so like funny and goofy, he's a jokester. Like we'll always remember the BB22 finale. They're laughing at me.
Enzo, you have hemorrhoids.
You have hemorrhoids.
So I didn't know that I would be in a position to get him here, and I was kind of holding off and thinking about maybe not taking him here, but I thought that there might be a chance that Taryn would take him. So I decided I wanted to go for it because I think that you have to look at getting to the final 3 and then the final 2. He gets evicted at the final 3. I do think Hayden wins no matter what, obviously, in BB12, but I do think that it says something about Enzo's game that Hayden chooses to, sit next to Lane over Enzo. And I mean, I just think that he has a very, very impressive social game, and the way that he connects with people, how much people like him and want to work with him is something to admire. And it's a vibes pick, and I feel good about it. And I
will say-
go into this thinking I would have him as my 3rd pick, but I feel good about it. I'm good.
Enzo is a player that I feel I've had an interesting journey with, because I feel like,
Me too.
from my perspective, Enzo proved me wrong, because I was always an Enzo doubter from Big Brother 12. I was like, Enzo contributed the least in Big Brother 12 to their success. He was never going to win that game. I think he's overrated as a player. Then he comes on to 22, and I was actually very impressed with how he navigated that game and what he brought to the table. But I feel like the general perspective went the other way. where people were really impressed with season 12, and then he came in All Stars, and people were like, "This guy's a joke. He's a wimp." And they didn't love his 22 game. I actually do like it a decent amount. You know, I think that Enzo's ultimate problem is that he is like, how does he win? You know, for as a good a social game as he has, he really seems to struggle converting that to respect in the end game.
Yeah.
And until I see that happen, especially because part of his success is that he loves playing with really strong players who are always going to win more competitions than him, who are always going to be more likable than him. And he's able to sort of leech off of that and aid them to get in a really good spot. But then how does he transition from that to winning the game? That's where he doesn't seem to have any plan for it. And that's where I feel his flaws are.
And I don't think that he has, like, again, we've mentioned the killer instinct to like take out, you know, the person that he needs to win is something that I question in his game. So yeah, maybe it is hard to imagine him. I don't know. I think that there is a scenario. There's so many variables. Like, think about a jury, like him sitting next to someone that really did a poor job of jury management, because I guarantee you Enzo would have done a great job of jury management in a lot of cases. So it's not impossible. I can't give you the scenario because I don't know what it is. But you could
he have beaten Nicole
see
in the finals in Big Brother 22?
I don't
They were
think
both
so.
taking Cody, but
I don't think so. I believe, to my memory, that Nicole would have had votes over Enzo.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to see what Taryn leaves me with, because I'm already like regretting my decision.
I can't
I think that I
confirm.
could have waited. This is my problem. Is like I don't like. I'm too impatient. I'm like too afraid, and now I'm gonna lose someone I want. I know it. Okay, it's fine.
The key is, Jenny, you never asked the person after you if they were going to pick that person, because
Oh, I'll just volunteer the information. Yeah, I wasn't going to pick Enzo.
Yeah.
Don't say that. Don't tell
No, I knew. But I don't know. Sometimes I'm going on vibes. It felt right in the moment, and I said, "There's two other people, and I don't necessarily think that Taryn's picking both of them, so I'm gonna get the other." That's all.
Yeah.
You do
Jenny,
you. You got to follow your heart.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. My next pick is another finalist who is legendary in the game. Another legendary woman to bring onto my team. It's gonna be the heartbreaker, Allison Irwin.
Damn it! I mean, oh my god, definitely shouldn't.
Two-time Big
I was
Brother
not gonna pick
player,
her
an
instead of
amazing
Enzo.
racer.
Yes.
I'm so mad.
Co-inventor of the floater strategy. You know, we remember June for it because June did it better ultimately. But Allison was certainly in there, floating up a storm in season 4, and just using every available weapon at her disposal to make it further in the game. Ultimately, she leaves a jury that is upset with her for sure. But I think Allison is a player that performs even better in modern times than she did back then. I think the jury wasn't ready for Allison's style of game and the way that she operated in that house. I think she would be much more respected if she played nowadays than she was then, and I think people would underestimate her because they wouldn't really expect that. I also, similar to Nokomis, don't really hold her All-Stars performance against her, given just how screwed she was going in. So yeah, I mean, getting Allison here, I think I'm very happy with my team.
I effed up, man. I effed up so bad. Ugh. I'm gutted. Also, I shouldn't do this, but I am going to address the chat here. Please don't say that I hate women. That is literally not true, and it is a very
Jenny does
rude
not
and
hate women.
unappreciated thing to say about me. Because I literally came out of the gate saying that most of my list was women. It just so happened that when I had picks, I had men that were ranked pretty high still on the board, and I was like, "There's a lot that I don't want," so I went for it, and I made a mistake, and I will own that. I love Allison. I had her as my top pick for the first boot draft that I was going to be on.
Oh.
And I'm upset.
Look,
But I don't hate women. Please be nice. I'm like, it's such a
Yes,
terrible
please
thing
be
to
nice.
say about
Obviously,
me.
It's very difficult when you're drafting because your list can look like whatever it wants to, but when other people choose your picks, you are suddenly like, okay, well now it's this person, this person, this person. Wait a minute, now all of a sudden it's all guys. Like that happens. It happens sometimes.
Like I literally like I had like a couple men and then I had like all women, and I just keep letting Taryn have them.
Jenny had a couple of tries and took a couple of guys.
I'm so mad. It's fine. It's fine. I should have known that Taryn would take Allison. I should have just taken Allison.
Yeah.
I'm terrible under pressure and
No,
with
you're not.
decisions.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Be nice to my friend Jenny. Okay?
I'm gonna spiral after this. You guys realize?
Mhm.
This is my downfall here. This pick.
All right, Taryn, you have Allison. Anything else you want to say about Allison?
Legends. Bring her back.
Okay. Let's move on to Taryn's second of two picks. Yes.
I think that Allison was a victim of like some slut shaming and and as much as I love June, and June is an incredible player, an incredible winner, even June used that against her to in the final two and being like, well, we played similar games, but I didn't use my body and my sexuality to deceive you. Allison is an icon, and I think that her game deserves a lot of respect. So, not enough respect for me to pick her. Apparently, I screwed that up.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, look, we'll let the voters be the judge of that. Okay. All right.
All right.
Taryn, lucky number 13. Who you got?
I've got another pick. I'm gonna take a little bit of a turn here. I feel like my picks so far, I'm very happy with them. I feel like they're pretty safe picks. They're pretty well-established people. So I really want to go for it here with my fourth pick because I think there's a chance this pick comes back to me, but I really want to get this pick on my team. Years and years ago, when we did the non-winner rankings, I called this person out. I said, this person is underrated as a player. And I think since then, some people have started to come around, I think. I've heard more and more people talking about this person over the last few years, which I'm very happy about. Hopefully enough that people recognize the pick and like her on my team. I'm going with Karen Ganchi from season 5, underrated mastermind of
Taryn,
season 5.
we're looking for people that were on Big Brother. Is the person from Big Brother US?
Like I said, I'm going out a little bit on a limb here.
Amy
Hopefully
Cruz?
the diehards reward me for this pick.
Who is this person?
One woman from an early season like Amy.
Tell us more, Taryn.
Listen,
Tell us more.
Listen,
about this
Rob's
person.
reaction is exactly what makes her so dangerous.
I've never
in Big
seen
Brother.
this person in my life.
I guarantee you have.
You're rickrolling us.
The people on the street have been saying.
How far did this person go?
She made it to the final 5. And was positioned to win the whole thing, really. The only reason she was eliminated was because Cowboy, Drew, and Diane were able to game the final 5 veto to force her on the block. They were the first people to do it. And it was a veto competition that was very gameable. They kind of broke the system. Ever since they've done these final 5 vetoes, they have been a bit, a bit less easy to game, but they were able to essentially make sure that they chose exactly who won the final 5 vetoes so that the person off the block could force Karen onto the block, even though her ally Nokomis was the HOH. And so she was forced out of the game, despite, I mean, listen, if not for that, I really do think Karen is the BB5 winner. And she really does well throughout the season, helping orchestrate a lot of things to her favor, was very well liked, very good social player, as well as being strategic. And to this day, I think still remains underrated, but hopefully we can change that eventually.
I think that in the very least, Rob's reaction will indicate at least somewhat underrated.
Very underrated. Very
I
underrated.
will admit,
I have never heard this person's name
Rob,
in my
I
life.
promise you, if you've watched BB5, you have seen this person.
This is why I felt like she might come back to me, but I felt like I needed to really put my
If
foot
this
down
draft
and
went
go out on a limb.
50 rounds, I would not have taken Karen.
But that's great for you, Rob, because that means Taryn did not take someone that
Yes,
will now come
not
back
somebody
to
that
you.
was on my draft board.
Right.
I have not rewatched BB5, but I watched it in real time, and I did remember rooting for Karen, and I remember thinking that she was very likable, good social game. I liked her a lot. I just had not someone that gets talked about a lot, in the later years since then. So, I think it's a very interesting pick. I wasn't necessarily expecting it next from Taryn, but I don't hate it.
Okay.
Justice for Karen.
Does
All
she have
right.
like a big Twitter following? Is that what you're going for here? Like, is this like a
This is
a
Taryn's
ploy?
personal friend. It's a relative.
I gave 3 to the audience. I wanted 1 for me.
Are you throwing the draft now, Taryn? That you feel like
No.
you're in such a big lead?
This is you want to know what's happening is Taryn feels like he has it in the bag, and now he's
Charity,
going for his. He's going for
He's
his
giving picks away.
It's got to be
his emotional
exciting, all right?
picks for his-
You
Okay.
didn't want to take Jose, so I'll take Karen.
Oh gosh.
Okay, all right. Jenny,
Back
you
to
now
me.
have the next pick.
Okay. All right. I will not waste any time. I will take Danny Donato Briones. A player that I had admired in my time watching. I believe I also did the preview podcast for BB22 on Danny's game. Her stock may have fallen a bit after that game, but it is a player that I have always really enjoyed. Obviously, her BB13 game is the game that I think most people feel is the highest regarded. It was so fun watching that season in real time and rooting for her. And yeah, I just feel like at this stage in the draft, I had to go for it. Again, also, if you're looking at it from like the way Rob is weighing things in terms of like, the sample. I mean, this is someone who's played 3 times and done pretty well in all 3 games. Definitely a lot of missteps. Not a perfect player by any means. Definitely some decisions that I don't personally agree with, but I think that especially if you look at her first game and the difficulty that she faced having to do what she did with a tumultuous, like estranged relationship with your father, who has terrible relationships with most of the people in the house, and like navigating that whole experience at like the age of 20 or something. And I think some of the promise that she showed in that first game under all of those circumstances is enough for me to feel like she is a player worth drafting here. And then I think what we saw in BB13 was incredible. Yeah, I don't know. This is someone that I wanted on my team, and so I had to go for it here. It was Allison and Danny that I had, and Taryn only took one of them, so I was just gonna make sure I got
You got 2 out of 3. That's a W.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this pick. I think that, I mean, Danny, he should make it to the finals in the first season that she plays in. And then in Big Brother 13, that like she attempts a very bold strategy, which was very fun to watch, trying to pit the returning vets against each other. Ultimately, she gets caught and it doesn't work out, and she goes home. Then I had very high hopes for her in Big Brother 22. We don't need to explore that of how that ultimately goes or what she
That
was
season
thinking
just
there.
was, an
There's
emotional
so many people that
pain.
this draft would have been so easy if Big Brother 22 didn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
There's like 8 people that would have been
Yeah.
gone already if it wasn't for
Yeah.
Big Brother 22.
This is the thing for me, is that I feel almost the opposite. I personally feel like Big Brother 22 was her most impressive game. I was actually pleasantly surprised with how much she had learned over the years about strategy and how the game worked, and like the position that she was able to put herself in. Obviously, she still had a couple of flaws there, specifically that she really let Cody kind of weasel his way into her relationships and just kind of destroy her from the inside out. And she wasn't able to see it. But you know, I think that outside of that, like glaring flaw, it was still a fairly impressive performance. She really went head toe to toe with Tyler, and you know, ultimately came out the winner. Partly because he's self-imploded, and partly because
Checked
she was
out.
a worthy opponent.
Mhm.
I think the only difference there is that she wasn't dominating the competitions in the same way that season as she was
Yeah.
in previous seasons. But if anything, I think that you know, only served to further her game in that sense.
Okay.
I mean, I just loved, you know, watching 13, and as someone that was like rooting so heavily against Big Jeff and just like watching that particular relationship, like I was standing so hard. So I will never remember, like I'll never forget those fond memories of like being a feeder during that season and being very intensely invested in Danny's game. And you know, we will always remember brunette Danny and the
We will
legend that she
always have
was.
brunette Danny.
We will always have brunette Danny. We will always remember.
Okay.
All
Back
right,
to me.
Rob.
So I have like 5 or 6 picks that I can make.
perfect.
The only thing is that I feel like I'm fairly confident that all these picks will come back to me. So I don't feel particularly great about anybody on my board. So I'm gonna go with somebody who I feel like you know fits in on my team. Give me from Big Brother 12, Matt Hoffman. Bring him back, okay? Matt Hoffman only plays the one season. Had a lot of stuff going on that you could argue that he was somewhat of the brains behind the early days of the brigade. Ultimately, they turn on him. He had a lot of stuff going on in the house with sympathy for his wife who had the incurable disease. Ultimately, he has too big of a heart. Can't pull the trigger when he has the diamond power of veto, and ends
What
up
do you mean? He pulled the trigger right at Sheriff Kathy's face.
right at Sheriff Kathy. You know, if he's going to, you know, make that big move, you know, he's got to take a bigger shot there, but he didn't. And ultimately he pays the price. But he's a guy who has a, you know, a really good social game, was surprisingly strong in the challenges, and you know, had a really good mind for the game.
Yeah, I think Matt is probably one of the people I was considering if I hadn't gone with the Karen pick. You know, truly an innovator of the game in a way that, you know, there had been some attempts here and there, but nobody had really been able to articulate the strategy in the way that Matt was able to, and really in a way changed the entire meta of Big Brother in doing so. Obviously, the flaws though are that he was not able to sort of convert that into personal success. He sort of won the game for his allies, who then turned around and cut his throat. And he did not see it coming, which is unfortunate. He also probably won too many comps early on in the season, and maybe made waves that weren't super necessary at times. But definitely an interesting player. If he were to play again, it would be very interesting to see what he did.
Everybody has warts here in the 4th round.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, is that
a medical
that
fact?
a saying?
Yes.
Is that part of the this is part of the deal here. I
That
was a
actually what
Hoffmaniac.
his wife had.
that was different. The fake disease. No, BB12. I was a Hoffmaniac. I loved this guy. And this would probably be one of those emotional picks up here for me. But it's hard to see the first person of a dominant alliance get sold down the river by everyone. But I think that there are things that he could have done to prevent that situation. But he was a fun villain. Like, I loved his relationship with Reagan. I loved his relationship with Brittany. Like, I thought he was really fun to watch on the show. Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of like the Tiffany of Big Brother 12 if she hadn't seen it coming.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. That's the thing. So Taryn, I'm interested to hear what things play into weighing, if you look at the brigade and the cookout as similar structures, and you look at Tiffany and Matt as being like the first victim of that alliance, coming apart. What are the differences that weigh where you have Tiffany weighted so much higher? I'm just asking.
Well, I mean, I would say one is that she saw it coming, and Matt did not.
Just that,
Hayden, and Enzo were really able to sort of untangle Matt's entire game while they distracted him, and he turned around and his allies were gone. They had left him, whereas Tiffany was able to retain her allies for the most part. And had more of a reason also to actually go down to the end in the configuration that she did. I also feel that Tiffany was a bit more under the radar, a bit more socially capable of blending in, and had more options in front of her. But which is not to say that Matt didn't either. I mean, Matt was in good with Brittany and Reagan, and he also had the brigade, and he really was in a similar position. So I wouldn't say there's a massive difference between the two of them. But if I were to, if I had to bet my life on it, I'd probably go Tiffany.
But to add to that, though, that Matt doesn't get to the final 4 with the brigade and be the first person. He ends up going out before that. And also, I think that Tiffany probably, in her heart of hearts, realized that there was a good chance that to go along with this plan, she was not going to win. I don't think that Matt had the same idea about the brigade. As long as the brigade is the final 4, I'm comfortable with any of us in the brigade winning.
And I should clarify. I was just prompting conversation. I had Tiffany much higher than Matt on my list, but because of the comparison of the brigade to the cookout and how the downfall of Matt and Tiffany, I thought it was an interesting conversation.
Okay,
good question.
Yeah.
All right,
Puya has 2 in a row.
I do. And again, we're at the stage now where you could pick anybody and make a case for them in any type of way you see fit. At the end of the day, I'm going to pick who I want to pick, and we're just going to have to deal with it. No one's going to make me make my next pick. You're certainly not going to push me to make my next pick, but this person was pushed. It's Helen Kim. Come on down.
Wow.
Pick Helen here.
That's a blindside.
Yeah. Now we all love Helen. We love the legend of Helen. Why is Helen the 16th best player to not win?
I don't think she is. I don't have a list here of these are in order the best player to have not won. I just think Helen's someone who is not a winner, who is a good player, who if brought back to play again, I wouldn't mind putting a couple chips on her. I think would do decently. And plus, I think has a good knack for the game, and I think is good socially. And for me, those are the two things I value the most in a potential player to play is good social, good strategic. If you got both, I'm not mad at it. And also Helen got pushed. The
Puya, you
meme
can
alone.
admit it.
Push.
You can admit it. Was Helen in your ear prior to this draft hyping you up saying, you are literally Janelle. You have got this.
She was in the middle of what you didn't know was in the middle of the motorbike doing donuts outside. I actually muted and Helen was on the side hyping me up to not worry about it and then to pick her as a result. So there we go.
I mean, Helen was one of the stronger players on BB15. She sort of was, I think, sort of seen as one of the leaders of a faction at the time that she was at the height of her power, which is part of why she got sniped out of the game, of course. She went out kind of early. She's one of those players that was, theoretically had more in her, but didn't really get a chance to show it. And then, then she got pushed. Puya, if she doesn't get pushed, is she still on your list?
Maybe like later. Like she'd be more of a pick later. But here, the push pushed her up. You know what I mean? The push
pushed
pulled
her up.
Yeah.
Pushed her up the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Helen.
Anything else to say on Helen?
No, I don't have anything.
All right, let's reset once again here. Puya's team, Danielle and Jason, as well as Brittany and Helen. Brittany Haynes and Helen. Kim. Rob has Eric Stein, Janelle, Nokomis, and Matt Hoffman.
Wow.
Jenny has Paul, Tyler, Enzo, and Danny Donato. I have Vanessa, Tiffany, Allison, and Karen. Those are the teams so far. Puya, you have one more pick.
It's the last pick, eh?
So it's
Yes.
the last pick that's
Oh my
in your
gosh.
control. Or no, you have actually your last pick. You have plenty of control. We have so many players.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
How many rounds is this draft?
It's one more up and down the snake.
Okay.
Yeah. So one more, then one more. I think the one I want to pick later, I'll have later, most likely. Here's the thing. I'm going to pick someone who has already been drafted on one of these drafts this offseason. I'm going to pick someone who was drafted first in this draft in the offseason. From the first Boots draft, I'm going to pick Keisha and put Keisha on my team. Now, Keisha obviously has played twice. First boot in 22, fourth place in 10. No, fifth place, fourth place. I'm picking Keisha. Okay, I'm picking Keisha. That's what I'm gonna do. We can all agree her first boot doesn't count. She was an alternate. She got the money. She went home. I respect it. I think if Keisha had ample time to prepare, I'm not mad at this. I think she could do really well, and I enjoy her. I think she'd be fun.
And I mean, Allison was the first boot too. So I think, these were the two strongest first boot contenders. So I think that it's not wrong to have both of them get picked here.
Has an iconic moment.
An iconic birthday.
An iconic birthday.
She was on my list. I feel like I'm onto your strategy though, Puya.
What is that?
I feel like you've got your strong base of Danielle and Jason, and you're going for name recognition and popularity.
Do you think that's what I'm doing?
I think that's what you're doing, and I think it's gonna work. It's a good pick though, and Keisha was on my list.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Anything else on Keisha?
I mean, if people don't, people remember her for the birthday, and they obviously remember the first boot. But she was also good strategically, and ultimately is, again, like Brittany, a player that gets outplayed by Dan, who it's hard to fault her too much for that. And came very close to playing a very good game there in Big Brother 10. So, good stuff from Keisha. All right.
Okay.
Rob. Who do you got?
This is getting only harder.
Rob, you said you got a lot on your list, right? Like, there's like
I do have a lot of people on my list, but I could like argue both ways for a lot of these people, because I think that they all have like high points and great moments, but you could certainly make a case against them as well. Boy, I feel like I'm tempted to go with a skill set that I like that maybe made bad decisions. But in the end, I'll go with somebody who I feel like is getting closer to ultimately winning. She's got a fan favorite under her belt. Give me Davon.
Okay.
3-time player, Davon Rogers. And she's somebody who has the Riz, instantly charismatic. The first time she plays, she does basically nothing wrong, breathes. You go on the block, go home. Somehow the producers are able to identify, okay, this person needs to come back. Okay. And they bring her right back, right the wrong. She's giving us great TV every time that she plays. And I think is somebody who has look, is she one of the all-time Big Brother greats? No. But I don't know. This is my team. I like her here in the 5th round.
Rob, you pick whoever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always maintained that, like, despite what I think we can agree has been like disappointing performance over the course of her 3 seasons, there's always felt like there's more potential there. I definitely wonder, like, if Davon were to play again in a cast that was a little more equitable for her, I think that we could see an entirely different player. She certainly has performed, I think, pretty well on the challenge, as far as I'm aware. So I don't think this is too out there of a pick. I think that there's a reason that she is so popular. She is very charismatic, very compelling, and has interesting ideas when it comes to strategy. But I think the thing holding her back in terms of a draft like this, of course, is just like the resume. That's the back of the baseball card. She hasn't performed as well as I think she would have hoped.
Yeah. I mean, she has 2 stints on the jury, right?
Yes.
Was she on the jury in 22? Right. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
BB 18.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's some extenuating circumstances there in BB 22. Gave us a ton of great moments, and of course, like, has demonstrated what she's capable of doing on the challenge. I think that she was like the most popular winner pick going into Big Brother 22. So I feel good. Put Davon on the team.
Davon on the team.
Rob, your team is
Rob,
pretty iconic. Like,
Rob filling up with America's favorite player picks.
oh,
Yeah.
that's a good strategy, though. I mean, it's like these
Not
people have
strategy,
literally
Jenny.
won
My
fan
team.
votes, so like it's actually a pretty.
I can think of
smart
at
strategy.
least one that if you pick that fan favorite or the winner of AFP that season, it won't end well for you. But
Yeah.
I know you won't pick them, so we're good.
Okay. All right.
All right. Jenny, you have another pick.
I don't know what I want to do right now, and that's troubling. I have 2 people on my list that I'm kind of going back and forth between right now. And I am going to lean into recency because one is a
Okay.
newer player and one is an older player. And I am going to go with Hannah Chada.
Okay.
I think that she is an incredibly smart person. I think that she has a lot of potential. I think that she played the game very young. And, you know, depending on how things shake out in BB23, I think that she had some really good potential to go further than she did. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought she had good relationships, also outside of the cookout. And I don't know. I think she's just charismatic and smart and someone that this is like a potential pick too, where it's like, I see her playing again, and doing very well again, older, a little bit more like life experience and wiser. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
high potential pick. Sorry, Taryn, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah.
no worries. Yeah, I think Hannah obviously has a big fan base who liked her game, but I do feel still that she is potentially underrated as a player by people who aren't fans of her, because similar to a lot of the players on Big Brother 23, I don't know that she was fully able to display what she was capable of, and even more than that, we again with the age thing, I think that she has since learned even more about the game, and knows even more what she would do or could do on a season, and she's also like extremely charismatic and has sort of done more in this world, in this community, that like she's like worked on relationships. Like she is like, again, not to blow up anybody's spot, but she is somebody that I would really feel like would be a deadly pick to come back, that people wouldn't expect her to be as good as she might be. And so I don't hate this pick either.
Yeah, I just feel like some of the stuff I've seen her, like, you know, seeing her talk outside of the game, you see the promise, and even just like seeing how much I feel like she's matured since playing the game. I think that a lot of people like underrate her position and intellect because of her relationship with Tiffany and because of what a powerhouse Tiffany was and is. And so I think that a lot of people will say, well, Hannah wouldn't have been anything without Tiffany. But I think that was still a very mutual relationship. And I'm looking at the potential for a replay and how good of a player you could be in another game. So
she was also the person that was like crunching all of the numbers for the cookout when it came down to, what was it called? The America's Bucks, and like who could play, like who spent their money that they were getting. What was it called that season where they would go into the Vegas room?
Was it the high roller room?
High roller room. Right.
It's time for America's Bucks.
Yeah. The channel now. Yeah, BB Bucks, I think it was, that they had, and it cost like a certain amount. Like you could play this game this week and this game this week, and you had to keep track of like who could play in what game and who was adding money to their BB Bucks. Yeah. So yeah, that I think she had a really good mind for that as well. So all right, good pick, Jenny. All right, Taryn has 2 in a row.
2 picks.
What a cute cast photo too.
Yeah. 2 final picks, and I feel like I've been so decisive up until this moment, because there's so many options left.
You got this, Darren. You got this.
Here's the thing. I've got great options that I know are not super popular. People might be like, oh, that person, but I would make a good case for them. But I've got some very good options that are more easily recognizable, and people would get behind them a little more. Or I could just go full, pick America's favorite player, but
That's Rob's strategy.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough. Let's see. I've been eyeing one person a lot. And I think I have to have them. They're so unbelievably dominant in one area of the game and pretty good at other areas as well, especially in the modern era. I think I have to go with Michael Brunner.
It's a good pick.
It's a good pick. I had him on my list.
He's just, I genuinely believe him to be the most dominant competition performer in the history of the show. And in an era where the competitions are very important, he's also somebody that doesn't seem like he should be that good at competitions and would never be like, in terms of his first game at least, instantly targeted for being such a comp threat. Honestly, even if he did play again, I think a lot of like alpha bros would continue to underestimate him in terms of competitions. He's also like not even close to bad as a strategist. He has a very good understanding of strategy and where he should go and how he should operate. He obviously makes a few mistakes in Big Brother 24, but it is certainly got his head on straight for the most part. And he's also very good socially. I mean, people get along with people, love him. He went to that jury. People were like, "Oh, Michael, we love you." He's maybe like one malfunctioning belt away from potentially winning the whole thing that season. So at this point in my draft, I feel like he's very good value pick.
I think that's a solid pick.
Yeah,
especially
he's
if you're
great
picking
pick to
these
start the is this the
this last round?
the 5th round?
Oh
It's
wait,
the
you
last
get
pick of the 5th
2?
round,
Well,
last
I have
pick of
one
the 5th
more.
round.
It's the last
Yeah.
of the 5th round.
Yeah, at 20 overall. Yeah.
Could have gone a lot worse.
I mean, did he break the comps record in the end?
He
He
broke
did.
the veto
Or-
record.
yeah.
He tied
Tied
Janelle's record.
overall, yeah.
And not because he played in more comps. He actually played in the exact same amount of comps as Janelle and had the exact same record. More vetoes, less HOHs. But we also know for a fact that he could have won at least one, if not more, of the competitions that he just threw them. So incredible competition performance there for Michael. And not even also, I mean, I know I'm just rehashing what we talked about in season 24, but it wasn't even just that he was facing like bad competitors on season 24. He was breaking comp records all time in terms of the scoring that he was getting on those competitions. So just so incredibly dominant at the comps. All right. So that's
Terrence's
Michael.
final pick.
Last pick, Taryn.
Oh!
It's like tennis.
Okay.
This is
There's
it,
so many
Darren.
good options left. That, oh man, I'm ashamed that that these people haven't been chosen yet, but I can only choose one of them. I think this is gonna be a weird one. I don't know if people are gonna like it. I think I'm gonna go with Kyland.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking
Islands.
about that.
I don't hate that.
as well. I mean, I think there's a bunch of people from Big Brother 23. I think that are that still could get picked here, and like we could go Big Brother 23 across the board here in this round, and nobody would bat an eye. All right, talk it through, Kylan.
Look, the chat is already mad at me, but here's the thing. Kyland was a huge part of why the cookout was so dominant that season. He was a very good player. He's very good at competitions. He's very good socially. to a point. And he was also very good strategically to a point. There's a reason that a lot of people got really frustrated with him, or one of many reasons, of course, but which is that he really was good at getting people to do what he wanted. He was good at gaslighting people into going in the
Put
direction that he
SB in the
wanted.
blender.
And I'm definitely very critical of his game because of how it ended, which felt like just a colossal error on his part. But again, you have to consider the fact that it's fueled by the fact that there was another goal for the cookout. And I like his performance on the challenge as well. I feel like of the Big Brother players, of the Big Brother 23 players, like Kyland has really been able to like integrate himself and fit in really well from what I've been able to see on the challenge. He's able to work and make deals and perform well there. So I do think that he is he's a threat. He's a threat. And if he came back, I think he would be dangerous.
Yeah, I think that Kyland is a really interesting pick. I was thinking about taking Kyland. I think that he's got a really great skill set. Certainly has the physicality that you would be looking for. I think that he has a very strong social game, but it's like it's a lot of variance in the social game. Like he has high highs and low lows in the social game. But ultimately, I think he plays himself, that he's the one that talked himself into this idea of like iron sharpens iron, and he wanted to go to the end with Xavier when that was not the best idea for him. But in terms of just like skill set, in terms like I think he's on the upper echelon of like Big Brother players who haven't win in terms of what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Good job, Taryn. Great team.
Okay,
so
I think you're still gonna win.
Taryn's locked in.
I don't know. I think I started strong.
Those first two picks are deadly.
Look,
but
I've followed my heart. All right.
And I did
for the
too.
most part.
And
Yeah.
I think we all did actually. So I think that we all win in a way.
All right, Brianna in the chat. If Karen is the one that drops my stock for you, then you need to get your eyes checked. That's all I'm gonna say. 'Cause Karen is one of my best picks.
Okay. All right, Jenny, your final
All
pick.
right. With my final pick, I have people obviously still on my list. But I went back and forth on a few things. And I am settling by traveling at the speed of sound. Give me Tommy Bracco. Here's the thing.
That's a good pick too.
I forget about this season because so many obvious reasons, but I think that there are many, many situations where Tommy Bracco is the winner of BB21. I think that he was in a very, very good position in a dominant alliance with a lot of way less likable people. And if he had gotten to the end with the right person, I think easily wins. He's very, very well liked. He's very, very charismatic. He was good at comps. I think he's just a well-rounded player. I don't remember how he did on the challenge. I know he was on the challenge.
He was on the challenge?
Was he?
Yeah, I think he was out very early.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. It's not canon. We're not doing best challenge players.
We don't know each other.
You know, there was a lot of really, really bad treatment and social game in this season. And so, you know, maybe if I'm weighing it against really, really bad stuff, it seems better. But I thought that Tommy did as good of a job as he could, being aligned with a lot of people that were maybe not great people and not treating people well. But he was in a great position, and I think that he navigated the game very, very well. And I think just overall is like a solid Big Brother player.
Yeah, this was somebody who I was very strongly considering, both in the last round and for my upcoming pick. And so don't forget also that they put his cousin or
Aunt's
girlfriend or something.
ex?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't
But
think like blood
basically,
relation,
like that was
but
that was
no.
not part of the plan to come to the house
No.
with Christine Christy into the
Yeah.
house. Okay, and that was a net negative at times for Tommy, who ends up going very far. I thought looked for most of BB21 like he was going to be the person who was going to be the winner of the season. I thought, and maybe if there people like the Jack and Jackson, also known as Mickeys, aren't like behaving like horribly in the house, maybe it doesn't end up where there's the house flip, and then ultimately that's sort of like the beginning of the end for that big alliance. But he was really set up well for a while. And then at the final five, almost like managed to come through that. That I forget exactly. There was him and Holly were on the block, and frickin' Cliff and Nicole had to vote about. I forget who was the HOH and who was voting. But he was like, take me, and like, no, you got to go home. And ultimately they lose the game because they don't listen to him.
I believe they were both voting, right? Because Nicole had won the veto and forced Holly on the block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't remember who was the HOH in that
I think Jackson
scenario.
was the
Jackson
HOH.
probably, yeah.
But Holly ends up on the block. Oh,
Yeah, because Nicole wasn't
Yeah.
put up as the
Yes.
nominee, and so Holly almost got Karen'd, basically.
Mhm. It was a
which
great
we all know.
week. And,
Of course.
Yeah. So was Tommy dominant? No, but I think he played like a really great like Big Brother game where I think that he had like a little bit of Andy to his game, but I think he was better in the comps, and ultimately just doesn't work out for Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, I think other answers from BB21 I would have accepted. Number one, Kemi. Number two, I probably would have put Cliff over Tommy. I think he performed really well. But I think Tommy's a good option there as well. I think Holly's still a bit underrated, and even Christy could be. I think season 21 had some good options here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easy to forget because we would like to forget some of it. A lot
Easy
of
to
it.
forget because we chose to.
All right.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
With That's
Yeah.
good. I feel
Good
good.
pick,
about that.
Jenny. Okay.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right.
Final pick for Rob.
Final pick for me. I have a few different names that I'm going with, and this is this is tricky for me. I was really strongly considering Claire, but we're feuding right now.
Oh,
She and I are
no.
both on the new social media app Threads, and
Yes.
so she had said that really the first day on Threads is a lot like the first day in the Big Brother house, and it's chaotic and nobody knows what they're doing. And I said to her, "Am I the Frenchie?" And she said, "No, I think you're the Travis." Ouch.
Look,
Unless that means that
Was
I'm
there a
the
good answer
everybody's
to that?
favorite.
Wait.
Yeah.
Did you post a thirst trap on the first
yet.
day? Like, no? Okay.
Not yet. I couldn't get it to upload. Okay.
Aw.
So, all right. So, all right. If I'm gonna,
So you're not picking Claire.
I'm taking
Okay.
Declare off the board. Okay. After that, give me a man who got hosed, and if it were not for a twist,
I know where
might
you're
have had a
going.
different outcome. Give me Joseph Abdeen.
Wow.
Joseph is
Oh.
24.
That is not where I thought you were
I
going
like
with
that
setup.
pick, Rob.
Okay,
I like
okay.
that pick.
Joseph got the
He had a lot
whole.
of promise.
He had a lot of promise, got the whole alliance going, didn't get to really get a chance to get down to the really physical competitions. Look at this guy.
He's so beautiful.
Yes.
You're
Just like-
beautiful.
I mean, he is a guy who keeps his alliance tight. If it wasn't for that a-hole Kyle turning on him, what's your freaking problem, dude?
Yeah.
And if you're
Rob
listening-
is
if you're-
pandering at
if
this
you're
point.
listening, Kyle, turn the podcast off.
This isn't for you.
You're blocked.
Was Kyle listening to this podcast expecting to get picked?
Turn it off.
He made
You
it
could
10
have turned it
seconds
off
and
after
turned it
10
off.
seconds, my guy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay? Give me Joseph to round out my team.
I did not think this is where you were going with that setup, Rob, because I will use the exact same thing you said and then pick my next person because I thought that's where you were going.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing to spoil at this point, so feel free to say what you thought he was
I
going to
thought
do.
you meant Frankie Grande. I really did. I thought the twist, I thought, okay, he's talking
Good
about the
pick.
reset button. I know where he's headed. And then you said Joseph and my jaw dropped. But
Pick it up.
That would not go. That would not align with his fan favorite strategy. Booyah.
That's a good point. We saw that reaction.
True.
No, this guy, if it wasn't for what they call that camp comeback, what was the
Dire
Fest? Was
Dire
Fest.
Dire Fest?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And the wall yellers, Taryn.
What a disaster.
Yeah, forget it. Remember they didn't even have live feeds for that. Garbage.
Bad twist.
Boo.
Yeah. So, Joseph did not get a fair shot. We don't know how it would have gone for Joseph.
And I
can't
think
stop
Probably would have
I
lost to
think
Taylor
well.
in the final two, but I'm just speculating.
I think he's someone who we'll probably see back on the show again. I think it's entirely possible. So that one I'm not really like, I guess we'll never know. We'll find out exactly where he is, Rob, in the future.
All right. So, Booyah.
Did you tip your hand, Puya?
Yes, and
shining
my
bright?
cap to you not picking who I picked, Rob.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm picking Frankie Grande here. I'm picking Frankie Grande. Thank you for setting it up.
He's on Threads.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? I wasn't a fan of Frankie. I'm still not a fan of Frankie.
He's a
but I
social
can
media
also-
mogul, Jenny. Of course he is.
That's a good point.
But I can recognize that Frankie is not bad in that house and can do decently in that house should he return and play a second time. The reset button really pulls him out the game. Wow, that is a very I was gonna say that is a very bad quality photo, but then you zoomed in, it wasn't as bad. But yeah.
Who wants to shine bright like a Frankie?
These picks are locked, right? I can't rescind my pick. Right? Stop reminding me.
Wait, we weren't doing a draft of the best
Wait, do we have the whole
soundboard
cast of
contributions?
Candy Crush yet?
maybe that's the final draft. Is the soundbite draft.
Sugar Crush. Yeah. That's all I really got to say about it, to be honest. There were a couple people here I was mulling over. I had on the short list Johnny Mac. I had Brendan Viegas on my list that I would have wanted to pick and I thought I could get him at the end. Ultimately, I didn't have what it takes to
Is
execute
this
the
honorable
pick.
mention time?
It is pretty much, I think so, right? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot. Like this was, I think people do not recognize. This is 500 people that we had to make picks out of.
Is it 500? Is it that many?
I mean, it's probably less, maybe,
Probably something like
or is
that.
it more?
I
Let
haven't
me-
I haven't done the math on this.
Let me give a couple of people I think probably should have been included, but
I have
given
three
this is a
written
popularity
down.
contest,
Yeah.
I was a little gun
Oh yeah,
shy.
Diane.
Memphis Garrett and JC.
I did have Jason.
I was thinking Brett also from BB.
Brett wouldn't. I had Brett. He was an option. I had him as an option.
So
Mhm.
3 that I still had written down that I ultimately did not take. She's already mentioned Diane Henry. I had Amanda Zuckerman
Yeah.
from BB15, and I had Shelly
At one
Moore.
point, she was like a lock
Shelley.
to come back.
Yeah.
Shelly also,
Kelly
like
definitely.
yeah. I mean, she sucked up to the vets and waited, and then
she played her cards.
I mean, she got screwed by a
well.
twist also.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me some Sheila, maybe even some Shannon from BB9 too.
Not mad at those picks.
I mean, this is, and if you know what, I totally blocked out BB9 when I was doing my list.
We all did.
But one thing I do need to get on the record for was that I was a rabid Crazy James fan, and I probably easily could have just picked him with my last pick just for funsies. I loved Crazy James. I could have just done that as a vibes pick, but I did not.
The show's come a long way that since we've had a character that the show referred to as Crazy James.
Yeah,
there's
I mean, there's a lot of things from BB9 that I don't think
on our mental
could
health
ever
journey.
Be
Big
ever
Brother.
a thing again, and referring to a character as Crazy Blank is probably just one of many of them.
Yeah, I will
I
say,
loved James.
if I was going for that pander at the end, just throwing Kaser in there for the votes would have been.
I'm surprised he got through unscathed. I was
He was on the graphic.
Yeah. Kevin Campbell was somebody who BB22 would
22 skewered any chances he'd make any ballots here.
He was my number one draft pick going into BB22. I thought,
and the recency, that's the problem, right? Because it's like I often forget about how great he was in BB11 because of
Let me throw out some more. You got BB2 Nicole.
Yep.
Yes.
Hardy even.
Yes, Hardy, yeah.
Give me some Roddy the Devil. Give me Diane. Maybe
give me Caitlin Herman.
Erica Landon.
Well, or not, yeah.
If not for that puzzle, okay? There's another universe. She gets back in the house.
Playing a big game. She was playing a big game. Yeah.
Yeah, I did actually have BB2 Nicole at one point on my list too.
Yeah, it's maybe look, if the chat's mad that I didn't pick Nicole or Hardy or Roddy, they only have themselves to blame because their reaction to Karen made me gun shy about these old people. Right?
Well, here's the thing is like, it's like you can never make everyone happy because you're going to have people complaining about recency bias. And then you're going to have people like complaining that like they don't know who any of these people are.
That's why I love drafts, whether it's listening or participating in them, because every person in a draft has their own personal rubric that they follow and their own opinions. So one person's trash pick could be your steal of the draft and vice versa. Obviously, in every draft, there's like a top three, right? These three should be the ones. After that, it's anything can go, and who knows? And that makes it fun. I'm also
and even then, not always the top three.
No, they could be top three on paper and then be bad.
Yeah.
So then, how do we decide that it's just like we put this all into ChatGPT and that decides?
No.
How does this work?
So
yeah, we're decidedly doing ChatGPT now. Actually,
the poll will be up on Twitter.
The fans get to vote then.
The fans now vote for who has the best team. Maybe we'll put one up on Threads.
So, yeah, if we do polls on Threads, do we know?
And I think we might try this. This was suggested to us that we may also try to put a poll on the YouTube page.
Okay, that's
just
smart.
for those of you that watched the video,
just
or
the
maybe
preliminary
listened to the video, to see if there's perhaps a difference in opinion for the people that actually listen to the reasoning.
What if there's a
versus,
split decision?
The people just seeing the list. So
ChatGPT
we will go by
decides,
the official Twitter poll.
I mean, I'm sure that people voting.
We'll go by whichever poll gets the most votes. Actually,
I think that this is the real test: is where are we getting the most engagement?
I
think that people on
Twitter will go Threads.
People on Twitter that are voting are also people that did listen, but there are definitely people voting that didn't.
Well, there's definitely people that don't see it, right? Which is interesting.
Okay.
So we'll see. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
I think that all of the teams have their own little unique.
Yeah. You want to go over the teams one more time?
Let's do it. Teams one more time. Here are the teams. Puya has Danielle, Jason, Brittany Haynes, Helen, Keisha, and Frankie Grande. Puya, how are you feeling about your team?
I'm not mad at it. I like it. I'd back it. I think ultimately I'm very happy. Coming in, I was like, I need to get the quiz because I wanted Danielle Reyes. Once I got Danielle Reyes, I was like, even if I make a misstep,
Did you
I'm
study
not
for the
mad.
quiz?
No, there's no shot. Was it Mari who was like, I have notes I've been studying, and then got like has a tough time with the quiz. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna come in. I'm gonna make like a chicken and wing it, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, especially when like there's so many options for this particular
Well, we also don't know what Taryn's gonna say. I thought, is it A, B, C? No, it's every Big Brother non-winner is on the board. It's like Family Feud, but like difficulty 100.
Yeah. I thought about doing multiple choice, but I thought it was more fun.
Okay.
The other way.
Works
Also,
to
multiple
work out
choice
for me.
takes too long. So I think Puya's got a good team there. I think he's got Frankie Grande at the bottom, but it's balanced out pretty well by like Danielle, Brittany, Keisha. It's kind of the only like less popular player on the board. And I think he's got a good mix of very popular while also still respectable picks. I think Puya's in a good position here.
Hey, I appreciate that, Taryn. Thank you.
Rob has Eric Stein.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always say Eric Stein, but it just feels right.
It's just like a full name.
I guess Cappy is there, so you got to say Eric Stein.
Sure.
Right.
Janelle.
It's almost 11 o'clock. Lights out, bitches.
I forget that Cappy's name is Eric sometimes.
By the way, happy 5-year anniversary to
Summer of Steve 2018.
Oh my,
go.
5 years?
It's been 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
When are we getting
Why?
Summer of Steve Part 2? You know, that's all I'm gonna
maybe
ask.
it's gonna be back this summer. Maybe it's gonna be
Oh
a
my
twist.
god, I would love.
Summer of Steve
he has potential.
2023.
Cavitate.
I like the sound of that, Rob. I like the sound of that.
Do we think if Steve Moses came back, he would go, his opening would be it's Summer of Steve 2025.
I hope so.
All right, Rob's team: Eric Stein, Janelle Nokomis, Matt Hoffman, Devon, and Joseph Abden. An
25.
interesting team. Lots of big names, lots of fan favorites.
It's
Yeah.
just like Big Brother 24 because I just added in Joseph at the last second. You didn't think he was on the cast, and then I
Slipped it
just
right in.
I
I
feel
almost
like
picked Marvin.
I
there's a
picked
chance
Marvin.
Rob could have a dark horse team here. I think with all these big names, we could get a lot of votes for the Janelles, for the Devons.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Interesting. That's not how I constructed my team, but I didn't realize
Hey, if it works for you, then
Yeah.
own it.
Yeah.
This was my plan all along.
Jenny's team is Paul, Tyler, Enzo, Danny Donato, Hannah Chata, and Tommy Bracco. This that's an interesting one. I feel like you're gonna get a lot of like the strategy heads that are gonna be a lot of the bitter jury people are gonna be on your team with Paul and Tyler.
I don't know. That could be good or bad.
Well, I don't know how many there are, you know.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know.
You've got the Chata crowd, you've got the Danny Donato fans. So I think you've got a decent chance here.
These are all people that I think, I can envision them playing again and potentially doing well again. So I'm happy. I feel good.
Yeah.
Friendship indeed.
My team is Vanessa Russo, Tiffany Mitchell, Allison Irwin, Karen Ganchi, Michael Bruner, and Kyland Young, who is going to round out my team. I like my team. I think it's a strong team. I think I've got a great start to my list. I think Vanessa, Tiffany, Allison, they're going to carry my team. And then I went a little more personal. I went Karen. I think I'm going to get some super fan bonus from Karen, but I know there's not that many of them. And then Michael and Kyland were just they were picks that had to be made. And I don't know if I'm picking up any votes from those picks, but I think they were worthy picks.
And you have like a good balance of like modern and like more classic BB on here, so you're covering some bases.
Well balanced.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You
All
will
right.
see. I will sleep no matter what.
So-
Despite this spiraling, I did promise.
That's good, Jenny. I'm happy to hear you say that.
I got a pack for a trip tomorrow. I need sleep anyway, so it's
Mhm.
fine.
So those are the teams. Those are the non-winner teams. We will see which team prevails next week when we come back for another draft, another off-season draft. Next week, we're thinking Big Brother competitions might be the theme of the draft. So we'll start talking about who can craft the best team of comps. We'll see. We'll find out. So tune in next week for that. You'll discover who wins this one, and in just a few weeks, we will eventually get to Big Brother 25, a historic season. The marketing for BB25, it's got me a little hyped. It's kind of cool.
Oh, they're really pushing it.
I will admit
They're
I haven't
pushing the
seen a lot of
historical
it.
angle. They're showing
Yeah.
clips from BB1. They're like talking about how it's the 25th season, and they're going through the history. And it's like normally at this point in the marketing, they're like, people in bikinis. It's a wild hot summer. Let's do it, Big Brother. And this time I feel like they're being a little more respectable, so it's nice.
Well, all the commercials I've seen call like the show that's like the the biggest hot mess. I guess it's better than Babes in Bikinis, but it's not exactly like that. There, like the strategic game of our lifetimes is back.
They're not going full strategy, but they're at least like digging into the nostalgia and like
Then the clips they're using are more making me feel more optimistic than like here's two people chilling by the pool.
Mm-hmm.
They might kiss.
Because look, they have an illustrious history, Big Brother. For them to try and compete with like the hot new Netflix shows when it comes to like hot dummies on an island, like they're not gonna work. Use what you got. You've got experience, you've got maturity. Give us some of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Make
we'll
Big
see.
Brother, respectable again. None of this smut.
Was
I don't think it ever was. Yeah.
respectable? I don't know.
That's
but,
the joke. I don't think it ever was.
maybe BB1.
Mhm. For one night on the premiere. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we have for you tonight. Then, of course, you can check out our coverage coming soon for BB25, where we will kick off the season with a player draft, a cast draft of Big Brother 25 players, if you're loving these drafts. And you can find me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taryn Armstrong. I guess find me on Threads, if that's the thing.
It is, at least right now,
What do you mean,
Taryn.
if that's the thing, Taryn?
No,
It's
look at
clearly the
I
thing.
haven't even followed
the
anybody
thing.
on
It's the
Threads
new
yet, and
thing.
it's full of garbage. What is happening? That's all I'm
Give
saying.
Duck some time. He wasn't. He
Let him
didn't
cook.
expect.
Let him
Yeah.
go, Taryn.
Give it a second. Give it a second.
I wasn't ready for this.
I liked it last night when I signed up and it was empty. I was like, this is beautiful. And I woke up this morning and it was just gunk everywhere. I was like, what is
Gunk?
happening?
Mine was never empty. As soon as I opened it, it was before I even started following people. It was just full of things. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just kind of
Wow.
like they don't want you to have an empty app. They're just going to show you a bunch
No.
of stuff.
I like empty apps. It makes me feel like I'm in control
No,
of what
you
I'm
can
gonna
never get
see.
to the end. You could never reach the end. It's a bottomless pit.
may I suggest Fessy Fitness? I'm sure that app is empty, or maybe does not exist anymore.
All right. Well, check us out on Threads. Check out the Twitter poll on Twitter, and find us find me in all the places, and then find them in all the places that they're about to tell you. For instance, Puya, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter, Threads, both at Puyaism. So you can find me there. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Puya, and also youtube.com/Puyaism. So just Puya for Twitch. Everything else is the same. Perfect.
Add the ism.
Yeah.
There you go. Rob, what have you got going on here?
Oh, a lot of stuff podcasting away. We're back with Tough as Nails. Busy Tough as Nails in July. CBS is going to bang out all of Tough as Nails here in the month of July. We got a Talking with T-Bird that we dropped today with Debbie BB Flowers from Survivor Tocantins. Also, we've been doing our Survivor 44 post-game interviews and much more, all at Rob has a website, Of course, they got some podcasts going on with Jenny as well.
That's right.
Like what, Jenny?
Well, if you are just dying for something to get into while you wait for Big Brother, the hot summer show right now is claim to fame. We are covering season 2, Rob and I.
I've heard
we
good
just
things.
had Puya on for episode 2. We had a great time, the three of us, breaking that down. It's a really, really fun show. Check that out. What is it? Rob has a website.com/fame feed.
Fame feed. Yes.
And in addition to that, we are still covering currently Stars on Mars over on Hit or Quit. Again, Rob and I having a great time. There was a Yachtis this week, but we will be back sometime next week with more coverage of that. So check that out. And I'm on social media, all of the things at Jenny Autumn. And yeah, good times, good vibes.
Fun draft.
All right.
Jerked. We did it.
Jerked. Yes.
Good
Yeah,
times.
guess what,
supremacy.
audience? You just got jerked.
Again.
Shut the up, Kylan.
All right. Okay.
Your team is fighting, Taryn.
Yeah, Taryn.
You guys have now sent a helicopter to my house. To disrupt. I don't know if you can hear that. Thank you all so much.
Motorcycles. We got helicopters. Like.
Thank you all so much for joining us here this week. We will be back next week with another off-season draft. So stay tuned until then. Go vote in the poll. Follow us in all the places. Thank you all so much for joining, and we will see all of you next time.